Today we have with us two very special guests. Joining in is Ms. Tina Ambani, who is the chairperson MICA, Foundation for Communications, Research and Education.
Money TV, we noticed something interesting.
Yes.
India starts with an I and ends with an A. So that means we have intelligence, and now we're just adding artificial.
That's right.
And incidentally, your name as well, your last name starts with an A and ends
Yes,
with an
I saw
I.
the question. I'm very fascinated with
Yeah.
that insight.
Right. So how
I
does
didn't
AI
realize
impact
this.
our lives?
So, as Ambani's has always been way ahead of everything
Exactly.
else. So they decided that AI is going to be part of the world and part of everything that we do. So I guess that's how it is with us as well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pi Podcast with industry experts on Money TV. I'm Avan Dabash. This is the episode where we get you an educational series from some of the top industry voices to decode the future of AI and the future of India. Today we have with us two very special guests. Joining in is Ms. Tina Ambani, who is the chairperson MICA, Foundation for Communications, Research and Education. We also have with us Ms. Jaya Deshmukh, who is the director and CEO of MICA. And on this episode, we'll be decoding MICA's initiatives, the future of AI, prepping the next generation, and what the outlook is for AI across industries. Let's get to it. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Pleasure.
So, Ms. Ambani, I'd like to begin by understanding from you what exactly has inspired the thought of MICA. Can you tell us a little bit more about the initiatives?
I'll tell you, MICA actually was established about 34 years ago. I was nowhere around. I think it was established, if I remember correctly and if I know the history a little bit, it was established because Reliance then did a lot of retail. Vimal and then their textiles and their suitings and all that, and they were doing a lot of advertising with different advertising agencies, and then they came up with this thought that why don't we have our own advertising agency, and Mudra was established, and then from Mudra they decided to do a information and communication marketing school, which is MICA, and that's how I think MICA was born. That was the beginning. Of course, it's evolved ever since a long way ahead, and you'll know about it. She will tell you a lot about it.
Absolutely, and that's what I would want to know about, because I guess back then AI wasn't the buzzword. Now it most certainly is. So can you just start off by telling us why you think AI is so critical in the education sector and more about MICA?
Thank you so much. So to build on her story, MICA started in 1991 and the first batch of the PGP program started in 1994, and I am from that first batch. So I've literally seen 30 years evolution
and
of
full
MICA.
circle for you.
Full circle coming back.
Isn't it amazing?
Amazing.
Yes, so it's my 51-year-old self meeting my 21-year-old self on campus. So it's a beautiful,
Incredible.
wonderful experience. But MICA, MICA has always been a trendsetter. So even when, it was established in 1991, it was done so because they spotted a trend that India was liberalizing, and we needed to have more communicators. And so it was set up, as a C school because it was a school for communication. In fact, our tagline then was "The language begins here." And we were taught the power of communication. Over time, it has evolved because communication is required across the board. And from communication to marketing was a normal leap, a natural leap. And so we evolved into becoming a marketing school, which then evolved as, the digital ecosystem came in, digital transformation. We were always the first to say, okay, let's disrupt. We're doing really well, but this is the new trend. So we've always trend spotted. And so we had digital marketing as a part of our course curriculum. And now, we know that AI is going to transform a lot of what we're going to do. In fact, the World Economic Forum says that 44% of everybody, the whole universe, working population, is going to need to get reskilled.
Yes.
And we want to be a part of that. I don't think we need to be scared of what's happening. It's about re-educating, reskilling, and embracing.
Absolutely. And to build on that, actually at Money TV, we noticed something interesting.
Yes.
India starts with an I and ends with an A. So that means we have intelligence, and now we're just adding artificial.
That's right.
And incidentally, your name as well, your last name starts with an A and ends with an
I saw
I.
the question. I'm very fascinated with
Yeah.
that insight.
Right. So how does
I didn't
AI
realize
impact
this.
our lives?
So, as Ambani's have always been way ahead of everything
Exactly.
else. So they decided that AI is going to be part of the world and part of everything that we do. So I guess that's how it is with us as well. And we're very excited, though I really don't understand how much AI will be implied immediately. It's I think a very new phenomena, and it will take time for people to understand. But I think it's going to be an excellent addition to learning a lot more and being able to do a lot more. And I think that's the wonderful part of it. Eventually, it's still artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So we're going to have to use our intelligence to
Yeah.
actually be able to apply it correctly.
Absolutely. So would you like to come in on that, applying it correctly, how it's now become such an integral part? But I don't know if in tier 2 and 3 cities we've seen that real integration. How do you see it impacting the tier 2 and 3 cities?
So that's a good question. So, if when I look at the cohort that comes to MICA, we've got representation from across India. So we represent almost all states. There's maybe a few that don't come in. So we are very diverse. We are a mini India.
Okay.
The second thing that we have at MICA is we from day one, we've had gender parity. So our intake naturally has been 50-50 male and female. And third, we find a lot of our students recently, the last 10 years, coming from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So
nice.
it's not that we are just a tier 1, the metros. No, we do. That's what really wonderful about MICA, because it truly represents India. We've been egalitarian in that sense. And so when you include AI into the education, each and every course, each and every program has AI integrated into it. And let me be specific, because Sablog AI, everyone talks about AI. So 10% of all our credits are directly related to AI. So our curriculum gets divided into 4 groups, all of them. 1, we teach theory. 2nd, we teach real-world applications. 3rd, we teach tools and how to deal with it. But then we say, forget about these 3 things. Now let's introduce you to how you would do it if you had AI tools. And that's when the magic happens. So
Can I add to what she said? I think that it was similar when computers came in, and everybody said, how are the small villages and they're going to take over, and they have managed to do that. I mean, today everything is computerized. Even if you go to the smallest little town, everything is computerized. So I think AI will take that much time, but it'll be all there. And Indians, I believe, are extremely intelligent and sharp people. They learn a lot very fast, and I don't think it's going to take time before we start applying it.
Of course.
I
Don't
really
forget
believe that.
UPI. Don't forget Aadhaar. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the West in my career, but you don't see this kind of integration of technology right into the grassroots. And India has done that. So I'm not.
And with what numbers?
Yeah, exactly. With our
1.4
mammoth
billion, it's huge.
population, we've managed. So you're saying that you do see this integration of AI bridging that rural-urban gap.
It will take a little time, because it's not as simple as computers were, I guess.
Yeah.
It deals with human thoughts and intelligence and mind and brain and everything. So it will take a little time, but it will be there. It will. I take a long time to understand things, but when I see the generation, today's generation, they pick up things like this. So I think by the time it's kind of spread into the cities and into the rural areas, people will learn. It'll be very quick. I have no doubts about that.
Yeah, exactly. And look how we're all addicted to our mobile phones
Yes.
right now. So I think that integration will happen seamlessly. But it's not just for personal use, Ms. Deshmukh. We are seeing it being integrated and changing companies, the face of industries. So how do you see AI playing that kind of a pivotal role?
I think if you look at it from an industry or corporate perspective, what industry is going to be really focused on is ethical AI, right? And I'm not saying it for a buzzword. This is the first time in the history of mankind that we've taken a cognitive function, taken it out of a human being and put it into a machine, right? We are not used to, we don't know this, right? Now, when you when you give decision making to a machine, you're going to be really focused on, is it taking the right decision and on what parameters? And given the fact that AI is kind of opaque, there's a lot of focus on explainable AI. Just look at the Microsoft patent that just come out on explainable AI, right?
Yeah.
So we know that corporates are going to put a lot of emphasis on explainable AI, accountability, responsibility, and the sandbox within which we need to play. And once they establish that, I think you're going to see AI get into any function that requires discipline, rational pattern recognition, pattern prediction, even real remote jobs. You'll see that happen.
Absolutely, and it's ever so interesting that AI is also playing a critical role in this episode. It's going to be converted into 8 languages using lip syncing technologies and all of AI's tech.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Exactly.
Must let me know where it is, on what channel. I must see it.
Absolutely, I will share the link with you.
Great.
And since we're talking now in today's generation about safety, about mental health and things like that, do you see AI playing a role there as well?
I think eventually it will. I don't know how and where and in what manner, but eventually it will, because I think AI is something, it's a creation that will touch our lives in myriad ways, I feel. And a lot of things will evolve within that. So I think it will definitely make a difference. It already is. I mean, you can ask ChatGPT or Google or anybody if you have a mental issue, or if you need some medicine or anything. You can ask them any question and they answer it. So that's AI, isn't it?
Yes. And we're also seeing, the demand for AI talent that's growing multifold, especially in a country like India. So are you seeing, MICA going to take some virtual courses? How are they really going to integrate that?
So as I said, we've got AI as 10%, sometimes even 30% of the total credits for every course that we do.
Yeah.
We strongly believe that the future, you need to have AI skills. And this will be beyond just tooling, can you use ChatGPT?
Yeah.
It's about how do you use the applications in management or in, content creation or in marketing, understanding your customer. So it's going to be about how you can apply that and really rethink. So remember when digital transformation came and we said from legacy systems, we are now becoming digital. So let's reimagine, and design was the buzzword, right? But now it's going to be, okay, everything is automated. How are you going to automate automation? And that requires a different kind of thinking mindset. So it's not just good enough to learn how to code, because technology, AI and LLMs can do that. I think it's going to be about how do you create the right agent? How do you create the right business model? How do you have lean unicorns? So it's just going to fundamentally change the way we do things.
Absolutely. And some closing comments from you. It's really going to, demystify a lot when it comes to creativity and imagination. So what role do you see it playing, and how do you look at MICA really bringing economic and social value to the country?
I think it's going to play a very important role. It's just the beginning, and I think it needs a little bit more understanding, and once that understanding comes in, people are going to use it for their businesses. Like I've already, I run a hospital, Kokilabेन Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital, that I built 17 years ago, and it's up and running even now. And so we are already looking at a lot of AI applications in medical area. So I think there is a lot that we'll be able to do. I don't know how much good results it's going to bring as of now, because it's too early to say.
Perhaps.
But it will bring a huge change in the economic thinking and infrastructure, and it'll be a force to reckon with, I believe.
Absolutely. And AI driven future is what we're going to see. So what is it that you envisage for the future of India and the future of the education sector in the country via MICA?
So one of the things that MICA wants to put their stake in the ground on is that we're transitioning. So I would say that we've been in the information age, or you can call it the knowledge age. And in that age till now, if you had access to knowledge, whoever had access to knowledge, you created economic value. So the moat was around who owned the knowledge, who had the knowledge. Now with AI, that process is going to get democratized, which means everybody is going to have access to super intelligence, right? This is not my thoughts. This is what all the experts are saying. So as everybody has access to super intelligence, it will not be the locus of economic value.
Right.
It will shift. And it's great because everyone has access to super intelligence. We can solve all our own problems and we'll become independent. So that's the plus side. But then what do we do? Because as a race, human race, we've always emphasized intelligence, right? Oh, she's extremely intelligent. Oh, she's come first in class. Oh, he's a gold medalist.
Yeah.
This is all great value in India. If everyone can get a gold medal, if everyone has super intelligence, what discriminates?
Yes,
What makes us different? So that's where I think Micah comes in.
Yeah.
I think we think that the final frontier, which AI cannot replicate, is imagining the future, imagining what to do with that intelligence, applications of that intelligence in new and novel ways. And that's really the definition of creativity. And then if you want to create economic value or social value, you've got to implement that creativity. And that's nothing but innovation.
Yeah.
So at Micah, with this new school for applied creativity, what we are saying is that let's demystify creativity.
Yes.
We'll be the bridge between imagination and value, right? Taking people through this whole journey of creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship.
I like that. If that's going to be the bridge and that's going to be the vision. And this is a question for either of you. What about the naysayers, those who say that, AI is going to take over our jobs and it's going to be a big challenge? What is the messaging that you want to send out to them with now youngsters equipping themselves with this knowledge and bracing themselves for the new, very tech-driven future?
I think the world is constantly evolving and they will find a way out themselves. That's what I think, that we've always dealt with these crises where we've thought, my God, this is the end of my life or end of my career. What am I going to do? But something new comes out of it. So that's what I believe, that something really different will come out of it. People may get a little more serious about their work, which I think is very needed. They'll bring in some discipline and things like that. I mean, that's what I would think.
Shekhar, who's kindly agreed to be the chief mentor for this new school of applied creativity, said something really interesting, and I think that's a good way to end it. So we've always been thrown these doomsday things that, this has happened, radio has come, that's the end of, teaching as we know it, or end of the world. Every new technology, general purpose technology, creates existential threat. Sure, everything has pros and cons, but humans adapt. And if it's our choice, do we want to let this new technology govern over us, or do we want to adapt, and do we want to run this technology? And at Micah, we have a very optimistic view. I think we can absolutely adapt to it, so I'm not afraid.
I think he said something very nice. He said that human beings have to constantly be uncertain. Once you have certainty in your life, then you're over. Then you're history. You just get stuck. You have to be constantly uncertain. He said something like, she loves me not. She loves me, she loves me not. If she loves me, he says there's nothing like love. Which I thought made a very basic common sense. And that you have to constantly be uncertain about a lot of things, and that keeps you going, that,
Change is the only constant.
Yes.
I love that positive note. This is such a purpose-driven, future-driven, practical endeavor, and I wish you both all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
for
I'm very
taking the
lucky.
time
I have a
out.
great director, and I have a super team that works. They're all professionals. I don't understand much about the school because I didn't study this, and but I have given the ship to a very, very capable captain and the team, and they are navigating through every kind of water. So I'm very happy.
Wonderful. I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of this interesting episode of Podcast with Industry Experts. I hope you enjoyed watching. Do remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video.